What's up, nerds? So for this video, I thought I'd bring in my my oldest brother, Don. Don, say hi.
Howdy.
And then, of course, you guys know my twin brother, Marlon. Marlon, go ahead and say hi.
What's up, nerds?
So we are going to review the season 2 of The Mandalorian. Me and Marlon have been doing episode reviews for the whole season. So we're going to do a season 2 review right now. But before we get started, I just want to say that if you like what I do here and you enjoy independent content here on YouTube, please consider subscribing to my channel. YouTube is going to do their annual bot purge and old account cleanse, and there usually is a little bit of collateral damage. So I please ask that you like, share, and subscribe, and I thank you in advance. So why don't we go ahead and get started? So first off, I just want to ask you guys, what did you guys think about this season overall?
Overall,
Don, you go ahead first.
I'm going first. Okay, so I thought it was a good season. I mean, I have very few complaints. I do have a few, and you can nitpick some stuff, but I mean, overall, really, really strong, really solid. If you asked me to pick between this season and last season, being better, I definitely go this season. Edges it out just a smidge.
Right on. And Marlon, what did you think about this season overall?
If you don't get too nitpicky, it was amazing. Like, it was definitely better than the first season for sure.
Right on. I thought this season was so good. I loved I just loved it so much. It was so good. Almost every episode I was just like, oh my gosh, and everything. So good. Well, you guys already answered my second question, which was how does this compare to season 1? And for me personally, I just like it was better, but like you said, Don, just by a little bit. Like, I mean, I think all the cameos of characters really pushed it over the edge for me. But I really liked it a lot.
Well, I think this season they amped up the fan service to 11. So like the Easter eggs and the stuff and taking us back to places. I mean, if you think about like the last season and you're like, oh, what connects? There's some connections, but Tatooine is about as big as it gets last season with connections, and we didn't really. I mean, it's not like they visited the Lars farm or anything like that. They just, So this season it becomes better just because of that, I think.
Right on. So, just for you guys, what was your favorite episode for this season, and why? Don, you go ahead first.
I think it has to be the Ahsoka episode because it's Ahsoka, but the finale's really good. The one where they go to the little sea stone and you get to watch Boba Fett fight is really good, but I think Ahsoka edges it out.
Right on. And Marlon, what was your favorite episode?
I almost want to say the season finale, but actually I don't remember what number episode it was, but it's the one where they just destroy that old refinery or that old...
Episode 4.
The one where, I mean, it could be episode 4. Yeah.
Is that the Bill Burr episode? Is that the one we're talking about?
No. The one where they take the blue guy and they
the fish man.
Yeah. That's probably my favorite one.
Played by Horatio Sands.
Yes, Horatio Sands.
All right,
that's what he looks like in real life. The Horatio Sands look is makeup. The blue guys.
Yes, really exactly. My favorite episode was, the Ahsoka Tano episode. Again, Ahsoka Tano, seeing her in live action was really great. I do think that Rosario Dawson needs to work on her fighting skills, because I just thought some of her, movements were weird. And, I think a couple more months of training would have done wonders on that. But at the same time, I'm nitpicking. I thought it was great. I loved that episode. All right, so for the next one, for this season, who was your favorite character overall? Don, you go ahead first.
Well, I mean, the real answer is Mando, but I mean, seeing Boba Fett in it just, gives me, a Don 10-year-old boner, which wasn't very hard or strong. But, but it's still there. So it kind of brings just the nostalgia factor, of seeing Boba Fett running around doing Boba Fett things was a pretty big deal. But Mando is the main character, and he's my favorite character, for sure.
Marlon, who's your favorite?
Yeah, obviously Mando. You spent a whole first season relating to him. then you know the show is about him, so you get to know this character way better than most others, even if they are from your childhood, or if you watched Clone Wars with Ahsoka, you kind of relate to this character in the moment more than the others, in my opinion.
Right on. Well, for me, it's Baby Yoda. He's so freaking cute, or Grogu. And you know, what episode was it? He was.
Can
just
we talk about the name Grogu?
We can. Me and Marlon have talked about it the episode that they mentioned.
Because
Tom, what are your thoughts on Grogu?
I go, do they have like a product placement deal with Gogurt? Because it's Baby Gogurt.
I asked, are they trying to tie it into a Dragon Ball Z franchise because of Goku?
Yeah.
It's
a weird name.
So
I mean,
weird.
I go, it's. I'm sure they had to test it, test it to make sure that
they didn't test it enough.
They didn't test enough. Because I mean, I don't hate it. It's not a hateable name.
It's just hate it.
Weird. It's just weird.
It is weird.
Whoever came up with that made the final decision, cut his pinky off to teach him a lesson.
Well, it's just Marlon and I said this on our episode review, but did they just take a board with names on it and just threw some darts at it to pick?
I'm sure they did. I'm sure in a way they did, because they had to have. I bet you they had no less than 100 possible names.
And I just go, that was your best one? That's the best one you came up with, was Grogu?
I wonder how they do it, because if it's by committee, then the middle of the road is always going to be the winner. And then, but I wonder if somebody just went, if they brought it to somebody and Dave Filoni went, yep, it's Grogu. Or if they were like, you know, there were several execs and Filoni and Favreau and everybody in there, and they voted, because I think, or what happened, because it would make sense to me that it was by committee, because it's a middle of the road name, in my opinion.
I hear you.
It's terrible. It's not middle of the road. It's a terrible name. I hate it.
I don't like it either. I hate it too. I mean,
I don't hate it. I just don't love it. It's not. I mean, like, because I mean, I don't know. You know what they should have done? And this is the thing. I say they should do everything, all the writing and everything, and then let George Lucas make the names.
That's what I was just about to say. Why didn't they ask George Lucas, hey, you've been really secretive about this race of aliens. We need a name, and the best we can come up with is Grogu, so we need you to hook us up.
Yeah, because I'm trying to think of a bad George Lucas name right now, and I'm not. I mean, I'm like, well, the other Yoda species is Yaddle, and I'm like, I kind of like Yaddle. You know, and it's like, so it's like, and I'm like, well, let's think of other aliens. Greedo. I like Greedo. I mean, there's all these, even Jar Jar's a great name. I don't know why, but I like you looked at that guy and you're like, yeah, that's a Jar Jar.
I agree with
that. I look
100%.
at Grogu and I'm like, nah, that's Yoda. But but I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, it's like, how do you come up with really good names like Ahsoka Tano, but you can't come up
Dave
with
Filoni.
Yeah, well, then why they should add Dave Filoni make up a name? Because I just go, how do you come up with really good names like that, like Bib Fortuna and shit like that? Like, those are so like way better than Grogu.
Are we sure that Dave Filoni made Ahsoka Tano? Because she was in the first, the CGI film that was in theaters.
He wrote that.
Oh, did he? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right on.
He wrote and he directed. Yeah.
I was going to ask this a little bit later, but I'll just ask it now. How do you guys feel about them wrapping up the Baby Yoda storyline? And do you think he'll be back? And B, how do you feel about that? Or how do you feel about it? And then do you think he'll be back? Don, you go ahead first.
Well, I think he has to be back, because I think that if they leave him at Luke's Jedi training school or whatever, I mean, I'm assuming that's what's going to happen, then the possible answers for Grogu's whatever, his story, are that he's killed when Kylo Ren destroys the Jedi training school, or he's already a trained Jedi and released into the world, but then where is he during the back trilogy, during 8 through 9 or 7 through 9. So I think he has to be re-released back to the Mandalorian at some point during the season 3 season.
Which I'll add to that in just 1 second after Marlon gives his opinion. Marlon, what do you think?
Sorry. I think that them tying it up, I'm happy. I hope that we get a whole season without Baby Yoda. Just because it's like, I don't know, it's a weird focus for me. Like at one point you're like, oh, it's cute, and then at another point you're just like, I'm sick of this Baby Yoda shit.
Don't worry until when you have your kid in a couple months.
Yeah, that's different. My kid's not going to be a Force user with green skin.
Don't worry, you'll still after
you never know, he could be a Force
user. You'll be like, oh, I'm tired of this shit.
Don, I want to just say that, and I don't know how any of you two feel about it, but they are retconning Kylo Ren killing all of the Jedi students at the Jedi school for Luke Skywalker through the comic books.
How are they? Oh, where did they retcon it? Have they done it already or no?
I believe they have. I don't know. I don't read those comic books, but I did see online somebody had posted that they didn't retcon him killing Jedi, but he didn't kill all of the Jedi students at the
But then that brings a big plot hole, because if he didn't kill them all, then they don't come to the freaking the New Rebellion's aid at any point. Those are bad Jedi. Those are horrible, shitty Jedi.
Right. I don't know what they're doing.
Maybe they're just bad films.
They are bad films. Be quiet.
Plus, I don't like when they retcon stuff through comic books, because I just go, listen, more people, and including casual fans of Star Wars, they will see the movies. But casual fans don't read. You have such a small niche group of reading the comic books that I just go, like, I don't read the Star Wars comic books. So I just go, I wouldn't know that. What was that?
And you're missing out.
I bet I am. But I just go, you guys, like, if you can't retcon stuff through comic books, I'm sorry, you can't. You got to do it through some kind of film or on the TV shows or something like that.
Well, I think that you can, and obviously can. There's always been an extended Star Wars universe. I mean, the only reason people know, and you shouldn't be railing against those things, because some great things come out of there. You don't have Grand Admiral Thrawn, and you wouldn't if it wasn't for the expanded universe and for the books. And I mean, I'll bet you this. There are a lot more people that are probably like, I'll read a 32-page comic book than read, a 450-page book.
That's true, but they did.
But the retcon for Thrawn was the TV show Rebels. He was created in the book, and they retconned him into the story.
Yeah, but we're not railing again. But you wouldn't have got him. You would not have that character to retcon.
That's true.
And didn't write it.
I think what he's saying is there's such a small portion of the Star Wars fandom that reads the comics that if you explain, the more that you explain in a comic book, the less the Star Wars fans are going to know. Because I didn't know this until Matt said it. So it's like, and I don't read the comic books, and I probably
understand that, but I'm saying that it's like a it's like a freaking whatever, a big pool of ideas that everybody else gets to draw from. And once you start like, I mean, that's what I'm saying. When you're saying they shouldn't retcon, they shouldn't do stuff in there. That's the thing, is like so much of these, what we're excited about right now comes from that extended universe material. And without doing that stuff, and without having those ideas and all those people, those guys that aren't going to get to make movies and aren't going to get to write TV shows, but do have a big enough following to write a book or do a comic book, are able to interject those ideas into the Star Wars universe. And as that, we get a bunch of quote unquote little guys, even though Timothy Zahn was a pretty big author in genre before that. You get those guys, let those guys loose in your playground, and they create some amazing things. So even that same thing, you don't want to stifle that creativity by just locking it into one thing. I get that you're saying, hey, you're cutting off some people because those people aren't going to go experience that media. They're gonna stay away from it because they're not interested in comic books. They're not interested in books. They're not gonna play the video games, maybe. So to get those expanded ideas. But I mean, that's a casual moviegoer anyway. I mean, the fans are the fans. Those are people that are going to show up at conventions. Those are people that are going to be making costumes. And that's why that's why Star Wars survives for today, not because of the movies, but because you have that extended universe that fans have latched onto. And,
Right on. And I shouldn't have said they shouldn't do that. Because, again, you're right in the fact that we wouldn't have Thrawn if we didn't have the books. I'm saying that that they can do that stuff, but you can't just do it in the comic books, because now if a Jedi shows up and they don't explain that stuff, they just go with it, then it's for someone that doesn't get into the lore, that hasn't read the books, like my wife, she's never read any of the Star Wars stuff. Then she wouldn't know, and she'd just be like, what's this all about, and everything.
And then you, as a sage expert, get to explain it and feel like the big man.
All right. So then for my next question that I have for you guys is, who was your favorite cameo for this season, between like Boba Fett, Bo-Katan, Ahsoka Tano, Luke Skywalker, all that good stuff? Who was your favorite? Don, go ahead.
Boba Fett has to be it. I mean, Boba Fett has to be it. I mean, Ahsoka Tano's probably second. Bo-Katan is third. I hope we talk about Luke Skywalker a little bit. But
yeah, we'll talk about him in a minute.
Okay. All right.
Marlon, who was your favorite cameo? If you have one besides those four, then you can choose. But go ahead.
Boba Fett. I mean, he's somebody that, because I don't read the comic books or the books themselves. I only watch the movies and the shows. You got a lot of him in the Clone Wars, but that was still him as a kid. So when we got him in the original trilogy, you don't get a whole lot of him. So now we get to see, him as, grown Boba Fett in the Slave One, doing his thing, being badass. So that was obviously my favorite.
Right on. Yeah, Boba Fett's my favorite character in Star Wars. So when he showed up, I was like, I was kind of, when he showed up at the end of the first episode and they only had him for that short little snippet, I was afraid that's all we'd get. And I'm all like, if that's all he shows up, that's BS, because I need more, and he better get his armor back. So I was super happy about that. All right. So, hold on. So moving on to season 3 and what's coming up next. And this is where we can talk about Luke Skywalker, Don. Mm-hmm. How did you feel about Baby Yoda going with Luke Skywalker and, in the future of The Mandalorian?
Okay.
Don, you go ahead.
I'll say this. I'm fine with that. But I got to say, I clapped when Luke Skywalker showed up. I was like, that's Luke Skywalker. I'm like, yeah. But also, I thought it was the most uninteresting choice they could have chosen.
Really?
Literally, any other Jedi would have been more interesting than Luke Skywalker. Because we knew Luke Skywalker was out there running around in this time period. It would have been a lot cooler if it was Urza Bridger. It would have been a lot cooler if it was anybody else. I guess I'm saying that. I'm glad it was Luke Skywalker. I was excited about it, but I was also like, as far as choices go, it's the most uninteresting choice they could have made. And like I said, it opened up some what may or may not be plot holes, right?
Right on.
But what's the original question?
This was the option that I wanted. Like, I was like, it could be Ezra Bridger, but I'm like, I don't want it to be Ezra Bridger. I want it to be Luke Skywalker. I want Luke Skywalker in there. So when he showed up, I was afraid it wouldn't be. I already talked to Marlon about this. I was afraid it wouldn't be Luke Skywalker, because I was like, oh, they're just teasing us with the X-Wing, and then he's got the green lightsaber. I was like, it's going to be somebody else, and I'm going to be annoyed. But then Luke, when he took off his hood, I was like, I didn't clap, but I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, yay, and everything. So I was super happy about that. Marlon, how do you feel about Baby Yoda going off with Luke and into the future of The Mandalorian?
I'm okay with it. I'm okay with the whole season without Baby Yoda.
Right on. Now, speaking of season 3, now we got that end credit scene, and me and Marlon, you kind of talked about it a little bit in the last episode, but how do you feel? Because there is some stuff online about it. Grace Randolph, YouTuber Grace Randolph, she reported that there was some going-ons, which we'll talk about that in a minute, and that they were going to change things up throughout the season, and then that season 3 would be focusing on other Mandalorians, because the show is called The Mandalorian, but it's not necessarily just talking about Din Djarin. Don, Marlon, how would you guys feel if we got if season 3 of The Mandalorian was just about Boba Fett and not about Din Djarin because of the controversy going around Pedro Pascal, which we will talk about in a minute. But how would you feel about a full season 3 being just Boba Fett and not Mando?
Well, isn't the new but there's gonna be a whole separate series of Boba Fett.
This is the oh gosh, we were gonna do this in the next one, but we'll talk about it right now. Okay, so so Pedro Pascal, there was some goings on set, and Victor Van Doomcock and Grace Randolph both reported.
Wait. Did you say Victor Van Doomcock?
Yes, that is his name on YouTube. He's a YouTuber.
Oh, okay. This is a guy. Like
yes,
it's not like somebody works on the show and his real name is Victor Van Doomcock.
No, so Grace Randolph. Yeah,
that person is amazing, and that is the best name I've ever heard, and it's still a pretty good like Twitter.
Yeah, he's the future ruler of Earth.
Okay.
So
go ahead with Victor Von Doomcock.
Okay, so Grace Randolph reported that there was some problems going on set. I'm gonna paraphrase everything. So Pedro Pascal asked if he could take his helmet off, if he could get some more scenes without his helmet on. And they were like, no, basically. I'm paraphrasing. They were like, no, because, he doesn't take off his helmet. And he was like, I would like to act, with my face. And plus, Baby Yoda's getting all this attention. And, I've only taken off my helmet once. And they were like, no, and everything will, and everything. So then he went and complained to Lucasfilms, and that's what Grace Randolph reported. Victor Van Doomcock reported that George Lucas had visited the set and he complained to George Lucas. And George Lucas was like, I can't help you. I'm just a consultant. So he got upset, started to become cantankerous on set and, being difficult. He would mess up his lines, take off his helmet randomly, even though they, were like, no. So finally they were just like, you know what, you need to leave. If you're going to be difficult, you just need to leave. Okay. We don't need you here. That's when they started rewriting some stuff and getting all this other stuff going on. They had him come back and film some extra scenes. And I think that's why he kind of looks different from that last scene compared to, the first scene where he takes off his helmet. And then from what I understand, Boba Fett and they're going to focus on other Mandalorians. So there's the rumor that Boba Fett will be the main character of season 3, and we will not get a season 3 of The Mandalorian with Din Djarin. But some people that have kind of worked on there's a guy that does logos, I guess, and he said that Boba Fett is going to be a separate show and that Mandalorian will get a season 3. But during the investor call, Disney Day investor call or whatnot, Kathleen Kennedy, all she said was Mandalorian season 3 will be December of 2021. And then if you remember at the end of that scene, it said the book of Boba Fett, December 2021. And then Jon Favreau had said, or maybe it was Filoni, somebody had said something about how the reason all of these are called chapters is because they're like a book. So some people are saying that means that Boba Fett, this is his chapter of the book of The Mandalorian. So, sorry that took a lot longer than I wanted to.
I'll say this. I think that you're I'm going to call BS on all the reporting that you said happened. I'm going to put it out there that I don't think most of that is true.
You don't? Really?
I don't buy it.
Can you be more specific? What report?
Well, like maybe I'm sure that Pedro Pascal wants to take his helmet off more. I'm sure that's the thing. I don't think that there will be two separate. I don't think the Book of Boba Fett will be part of the main Mandalorian season. Right now, there's one thing that Disney Plus needs, and that they need original content. And I know they've got a bunch of stuff coming up, but it is still few and far between. In fact, I'm half thinking about canceling my Disney Plus until the next big thing hits, which I think the next thing is either Winter Soldier or WandaVision. It might be WandaVision.
It is WandaVision, unless you count Soul.
Well, but that's not original content because that wasn't made for Disney Plus, right? That was going to be a theatrical.
That is true.
Yeah. So I'm saying, like, right now, I mean,
You're just gonna cancel it for a month?
Well, I was
Kinda like
thinking
a
about it
waste.
now that I think that it's coming out in January. I might not, but I'm just saying, like the thing they're hanging their hats on is like one series at a time. Like we got one series out that
True.
you need to watch, and I'm just saying, like, they need to build up a library of content and start producing some of this stuff. So I think
Right on, but
personally, I'm calling BS, and I think that Boba Fett will be its own series and Mandalorian will be its own series because they need as much content as they can get.
right on. But if you look at Boba Fett has taken the filming block that Mandalorian would usually take.
I don't know.
So,
That's what I'm calling. I'm my prediction. I could be wrong.
Oh, I'm not saying that. I think that the reporting is true. Just because, like, I don't know, like actors are fickle and they're just very big babies
Yeah,
about
like
stuff.
I said, I believe that part. I believe that he wants to see his face to be seen more.
Which I don't blame him for that, but I just go, listen, you signed a contract, like, just deal with it for this season, and next season just be all like, hey, you guys want me to in this show? I go
it's BS because if it was me, I would just, if it was anybody else, any guy that works a day job, you'd be like, I'll wear that fucking helmet all day long. I don't care. What do you pay? I mean, even for Scale, what they're paying Scale is, a windfall for most people. So why, but I do agree. He probably is a little like, no, I'm on the biggest show in the world and nobody knows it. They love this puppet, which is crazy because you're jealous of a puppet.
Right. I do love that puppet. It's so freaking cute. Okay, but how would you guys, so now back to my question. How would you feel if we didn't get a season 3 with Din Djarin just of Boba Fett? Don, go ahead.
I'd feel gypped. I think that there's too much story still with Din Djarin now, especially now that he has the dark saber. So they have to come back to it. It's that part of the story at some point. I mean, they're obviously setting up something big with the retaking of Mandalore and Bo-Katan and her whatever her clan's called, and so I mean, if they don't come back to that story, I mean, you have 2 seasons of that story. Pedro Pascal is part of the reason that you're invested in it. I think it'd be stupid.
How would you, Marlon? Go ahead with your answer. How would you feel if we only got Boba Fett?
It will. If Boba Fett just does season 3 and then they go back to Din Djarin. I mean, I still would feel gypped if they took a season off of Mando's storyline. But I mean, I guess I would be understanding in the sense that I know that the Hollywood scene is fickle, so you do have actors and directors and stuff that have complications. But at the same time, I hate this line that they say, well, it's called The Mandalorian, but it's not about Mando. This is the character they've set up, like Don said, for 2 seasons. This is the Mandalorian that they're talking about, and they can try to use whatever language they want to treat us like we're stupid, but Din Djarin is the Mandalorian in the show The Mandalorian, and Boba Fett is, and you know what? They don't even have to call it The Mandalorian. They could just say, look, we had some complications on set, and The Mandalorian, the show, is taking an extra 6 months or whatever because we had to hash out some contracts or whatever whatever excuse they need to make. They don't have to, it's like a Game of Thrones thing. They took an extra, they took 18 months instead of the normal filming time, so they could film longer and stuff. So I would feel gypped if it was just about Boba Fett, honestly.
But okay, how would you feel if half this season was Boba Fett and then halfway through the season, say after 4 episodes, Din Djarin came back and then it was a mixture of the both, and then season 4 was back to Din Djarin?
Well, I think that if they're having basically then that becomes a main plot versus a subplot kind of thing, and there are plenty of TV shows that use episodes for their subplots, and that's a perfectly acceptable way of telling a story. So I think I think 8 episodes is not a very long season to begin with. So I think dedicating, I don't know how much you guys already talked about the fact that, this season had at least 2 episodes that I would consider filler. And
Ooh, what was the second one?
I think the Bill Burr episode is pretty much
I
filler.
love that episode.
I think all of that could have been done with exposition. I mean, I'm not listen, great episode. I'm not saying I didn't enjoy every bit of it. I'm saying that it was something that if they had wanted to do, they could have done that with exposition. And in serving the story, it serves Bill Barr's character in the story. And I don't know that. What's that guy's name? What was that guy's name? Bill Barr's
Mayfield.
Mayfield. I don't know that you or I or very many people were like, but what happened to Mayfield? What's happening to Mayfield? Nobody was like looking for that. I enjoyed that character. I enjoy Bill Burr somewhat as far as his comedy goes, but I think that, you know, giving his character basically a full episode to end that story arc or to give that character closure wasn't needed. So it kind of felt like filler to me. Kind of like the Spider.
I agree now that you've said that. I agree with you. That was a filler episode, but such a good filler episode.
Good episode. I mean, even the episode, I mean, the other episodes, the Spider episode, I enjoyed the shit out of it. I loved watching it. I was totally happy during watching it, but it took away from the main story. And I think, like, you know, when you had, like, if you think back to like a series like X-Files where you had what were the story episodes that filled into that conspiracy story, and then you had those Monster of the Week episodes. Some of my favorite episodes are the Monster of the Week episodes, but they were also doing 22 episode seasons.
Right.
You know, and this is 8 episodes, so, you know, don't take away from my story to give me, you know, a horror story, a Monster of the Week story with the spiders, you know, or an Adventure Week story with the breaking in to get the code story. You know, I need main points for my story. Like I said, again, that's a nitpicky thing because, you know, I'm happy the whole time I'm watching that, but you're only giving me 8 episodes in a whole freaking year. You know, either give me more episodes or cut out the filler, you know.
So okay, so that's all the questions I have about season 3.
Can I just say one thing? Would we all be disappointed though if Gina Carano's show got canceled? I don't think she's that great of an actress.
What?
Yeah,
I
agree. The only thing I don't like about anything right now about some of this stuff, like somebody disappearing or like, I mean, even Carrie Fisher dying and all those kind of things. And I've said this before to people. And listen, tragedy, sure. Is she Leia? Sure. Is Gina Carano, whoever she is, I don't even really remember that character's name right
Cara
at this
Dune.
second. Yeah, Cara Dune. Sure. Actors, we can recast actors. It's a make-believe thing. All we have to do is say Cara Dune. I hate this fact in Hollywood that once now you get a role, it's forever yours. Same thing with Pedro Pascal. If he's not the Mandalorian next season, like Batgirl did it perfect. Ruby Rose went away and didn't want to do it anymore, and they said, well, great, we'll just get somebody else to do it.
But they got a new character for that one.
I understand, and I don't even like that. But
I don't like it either.
So just freaking recast these people as it's acting. The James Bond isn't the same person all the time.
Yeah,
Why does everybody else have to be the same character? I don't like that.
I agree. Like, everybody's online saying that Sebastian Stan should be the new Luke Skywalker because he looks just like Mark Hamill when he was younger. I don't know.
And I'm fine with that.
Yeah, and I'm plus and Marlon Liam, when you talk about this, it'd be way cheaper to do that than to do that young CGI the whole time. It's way cheaper to just hire an actor, and he's already in the Disney family playing Winter Soldier, so.
He probably wants to work.
Yeah,
I'll take your brought it up. That CGI on Luke Skywalker did not look 100% to me. It looked weird, and sometimes watching his face, I'm like, this is a weird wax sculpture talking.
Okay, talking about the finale. Did you guys did an episode about the finale?
We did.
Yeah.
Did you guys hit on that freaking reappearing spear that appears out of nowhere?
Yeah. Oh no, we didn't talk about that.
It comes out of nowhere. It's like a fucking magic trick.
Because I had to rewind.
I watched it like 4 times. I'm like, did he have it? It's like, is it collapsible? And the answer is no, it's not collapsible because after that, it's attached to his goddamn backpack.
Yes. No, we didn't talk about that, but you're right, because he gets thrown back at one point, like right when Moff Gideon first attacks him, and it literally is not on his back, but then he pulls it up and blocks the dark saber, and I'm all like, yeah, where did that come from? This is bad. And you know who filmed that? Peyton Reed, bad
Okay.
director.
I know you don't like Peyton Reed.
I do not.
He's fine. He's fine.
No,
What
he
is
is by.
Peyton Reed done that I can?
He did
preference?
Ant-Man and Ant-Man 2.
Those are both good movies.
Because no, the writing is good. His directing is so bland. It's so white bread. He is not a good director. He does everything very blocky. He has no nuance to his directing. He adds nothing new, nothing special. It's just point the camera and film. And I go, that's ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. He's a bad director.
Okay, I listen. I watch all his stuff and I enjoy it. And I go, that's at the end of the day it. I go, this thing with that. If he's the one who said, yeah, we'll just have him pull the Beskar spear out of nowhere, out of thin air, then yeah, we need to fault him for that. And guess what? We should be thinking about canceling him for this. But I watched that and I was like, what happened? It just pulls that out of nowhere, and then the rest of the time it's on the backpack. Why not have it on the backpack the whole time? It sticks up a foot from his head. It sticks up like this. It's like right here. It's like that goddamn the butt of the rifle in my GIF. It's noticeable.
Right on.
Yeah.
The whole time up until that point where he magic tricks that goddamn spear out of thin air. There's no spear on his back.
Right on. I agree.
It bugged the shit out of me. It bugged the shit out of me.
Back to the CGI Luke. He looked weird.
Listen. I
thought he looked
good. It looked good, but I get what you're saying also. And a part of me goes, and I don't know the answer to this, Marlon, so I mean, I'm not trying to argue with you. A part of me goes, is it my brain because I know that's what he doesn't look like now? Or
No,
is it the fact that he doesn't look like?
When he's talking, the mouth stays here and then his head going.
I will have to admit, I went back and rewatched it.
I didn't notice that, but I might have to go back and look.
I went back and rewatched it. I was like, well, there is a little time when his like head is moving weird, and I'm all like, But that just goes back to they need to recast. Like, don't get me wrong. I love Mark Hamill, and he can play older Luke before he died.
No, Luke's dead now.
But he can play him before he died. But as far as young Luke goes, recast Sebastian Stan. And same thing with Han. They can even get the guy that played young Han.
Well, whatever. I go like this. I
do have two questions for Don.
Okay, I would say this. Okay, can't they cut his hair and do some young makeup on Mark Hamill to make him look a little younger?
I mean, maybe, but he's kind
of Is that a possibility? I mean, he won't.
No. I mean, don't even entertain that thought.
Well, I'm just saying, if we wanted it to be Mark Hamill, can we do age down makeup compared to age up makeup? I mean, we've all seen those
there
things
ain't
where
enough age down makeup to put on him.
I don't know. I'm just saying, we all see those things like before the shoot where the porn stars come in and then they get made up and they look like a fucking convenience store clerk, and then all of a sudden they look like a goddamn pageant queen. I'm just saying, can't you do that same kind of makeup on Mark Hamill and make him look like
I don't think so. I don't think there's enough.
I don't know. Okay, what are your questions for me?
So shoot, okay, so speaking of recasting, I brought this up. When Boba Fett is in his outfit and wearing his helmet, shouldn't they cast a more fit body double for Boba Fett?
You're complaining about Boba Fett.
Boba Fett, yeah. Because he's beating this young girl's ass in one scene. I'm like, man, that old man would get tore up in this. And she's like 20 years younger than him, clone or not. Like,
I go. Listen, you can't have
give him an outfit that complements it, so you don't. They give him that black. I told him, man, the biggest complaint I have is they got the Boba Fett armor repainted, and underneath it, it's just a black shroud of fabric.
I don't like that black tunic either.
His gut and all the extra stuff sticks out like a sore.
Yeah, there is a ledge. There is a ledge to it, like a ledge. I get what you're saying, and I think that the timeline isn't long enough to.
That was my second question.
5 years after Return.
This is 5 years after
Return of the Jedi.
Okay. Because the whole time I kept getting confused, like, how long ago was this?
I
Anyway,
said
those-
6 years, but it's 5.
All right,
What
yeah,
was your
those
second
were my last
question? Marlon, what was your second question?
The timeline and then the Boba Fett.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. No, they do. Yeah. All right, you guys, that is our breakdown / review of season 2 of The Mandalorian. Tell us, what did you guys think about this season? Did you love this season? Did you hate this season? If you hated this season, you're weird. But what was your favorite episode? Who was your favorite character? What was your favorite cameo? All that good stuff. You can leave your comments in that section down below. If you like this video, go and hit that like button. You know, I won't mind. Marlon, will you mind?
I won't mind.
Don, are you going to mind if somebody likes this video?
No, I'm in it. They should like the shit out of it.
Right on. All right. If you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. I'd greatly appreciate it. And we will see you guys on the next Star Wars videos. You guys have a good day. May the Force be with you. Bye.
Peace out.